Carbs and protein. Hey everybody, Steve here from The Varied Life. I am the retired hobby technician who does a little bit of fitness on the side. And I'm getting sick of all this fitness influencers putting out this bogus information. Recently, I've run across a lot of fitness influencers who, by the way, are pretty small when it comes to hypertrophy. And some of them are just downright skinny, talking about how. Let's just kind of jump into this. I just picked out this one guy here, and so we will take a look and see what we're talking about here. Okay, this is the guy we're looking at. And let me get the little picture in here with me, so that way we can see what this guy's saying. And he's talking about pre-workout meal. Do not eat carbs. Don't eat the carbs. The carbs are bad. Okay, and he's going to tell you why you shouldn't eat carbs. And I'm just wondering, where were these people during health class, science class, and I guess they don't teach that anymore. Let's get into this.
Hi there. So, I get asked a question a lot. What should I eat before training? What's the best thing to eat before training? And a lot of people don't like the answer because almost always I'll say fat and protein and make sure you're very well hydrated. Most people do not hydrate anywhere near enough.
Fat and protein. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. But if you're missing a main component, you kind of failed on this one. Yeah, fat and protein is what he says that you need prior to your workouts. It gets better.
When it comes to pre-training, whether it's for fat loss, endurance, or muscle building work, you want to be really well hydrated. But people think, I need carbs because carbs give me energy.
I need carbs because carbs give me energy. Yeah, that's kind of what I was taught in school and college.
Carbs don't give you energy. Calories might give you energy.
Carbs don't give you energy. Calories give you energy. Yeah.
Releasing fatty acids into bloodstream will give you energy. Cortisol will give you energy.
Cortisol gives you energy?
Carbs in and of themselves don't give them your energy.
Carbs in and of themselves don't give you energy. Okay, there's some nuances there.
Now, what carbs will give you is glycogen. Glycogen will be used for muscular contractions. So, again, we're talking about weight training oriented workouts now. So for a weight training oriented workout, you do ideally, for best performance, want to have glycogen in your system.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You pre-workout, it's important that you have energy to do the workout, but you don't want to take carbs because carbs in and of themselves don't create energy, but carbs are the reason. It's kind of the body takes the carbs and makes glycogen, which gives you the energy to do the workout, but I don't want you to eat carbs because cortisol gives you energy. Oh my God, seriously. And this is not a parody. This is not a parody, and I just can't believe this.
Please, for those of you who are on low carb diets, who've just listened to this and think, oh, I'm screwing up. No, you haven't. It's a different story for a different day. We're going to talk about optimal gym performance, right? Not necessarily optimal body composition. These different things. So you want to fuel a PB-filled weight training workout.
Right.
You definitely want to have glycogen in your system.
Right. And glycogen gets into your body through carbs. At least that's what I was taught.
Even if you're doing a couple of reps as a work.
Just a couple of reps? What kind of workout is he doing? Is he even serious?
Workout, a strength training workout, as opposed to a higher rep, more bodybuilding workout, where it will become more important. So a 12 to 15 rep workout would require much more glycogen than a 2-rep workout. A 2-rep workout, 2-rep per set strength training workout is not necessarily going to eat into your glycogen stores too much, but having full glycogen stores is it's going to make you feel better, it's going to make you feel stronger, therefore you're going to perform better.
So if you're doing strength training and you're doing 1 or 2 reps per set, so I'm glad he brought that in there. That's not strength training. 1 or 2 repetitions is actually geared towards more power training. But you don't need as much glycogen when you're doing power and or strength training compared to hypertrophy, kind of like bodybuilding. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so, but you need glycogen to do your. I'm getting sick because of all the bullshit. I'm allergic to it. Let's just go and check this out here. Here we are on the Mayo Clinic, and it's kind of a reliable place for information. And carbohydrates, how do they fit into the healthy diet? They often get a bad rap. Fruits, veggies, milk, nuts, grain, seeds, beans, peas, and lentils are forms of carbohydrates. There are 3 types of carbohydrates: sugar, starch, and fiber. All of those things are important to have. And when we get down here, how many do you need? About 40 to 45%, 65%, which is kind of in line with hypertrophy training. So generally what I end up doing is 40% protein, 40% carbs, and the remainder is fats. It does a little thing here. But here's the interesting thing from the Mayo Clinic. And we want to take a look at this here because it says, let me move me out of the way because this is important. Carbohydrates are the body's main fuel source. During digestion, sugar starches are broken down into simple sugars. Again, it's talking about the glycogen. They're absorbed into the bloodstream where they're known as blood sugar or blood glucose or glycogen. From there, glucose enters the body's cells with the help of insulin. Glucose is used by the body for energy. Glucose fuels your activities. Doesn't have to be just weight training. It's just keeping the lights on and, that's the elevator going up and down. That's what it does. Whether it's going for a jog, simple breathing, or thinking, extra glucose is stored in the liver, muscles, and other cells to use for later. Over extra glucose is converted to fat. So remember how Johnny here, or whatever his name is, Ultimate Performance Man, we'll call him Ultimate Performance Man, said that you don't need carbs, but you need fat. And it's like, well, wait a second. If you got too much fuel, you need you need carbs that turns into glycogen or glucose to fuel your workouts and to breathe and keep the lights on. And if you have excess, that's going to be turned into fat. But he said use fat and cortisol to fuel your workouts. Oh, seriously, good Lord. I don't get what. Seriously, this is what we're into 2024. It's going to be 2025. We have vast amounts of knowledge at our fingertips for free. I mean, you can attend Harvard, MIT classes and lectures for free. You have more access to information than any other time in history. And this is what we end up with. Don't eat carbs. You want cortisol. You want fats to fuel your energy. When, I don't know, apparently he thinks, the Mayo Clinic and all of these other trusted resources, apparently there's a big conspiracy because Ultimate Performance Man thinks that all of that is wrong. And, it's...
But not just that. If you take a guy who's got a reasonable amount of muscle, if he's carrying full glycogen stores, he might be 6, 10, 14 pounds heavier than if he's depleted. That extra weight in your muscles is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you, it's going to improve your leverage, if nothing else.
Leverage?
So, glycogen, of course, without glycogen, you're not going to get a proper pump. With glycogen, you get a pump. The pump, blood flow into the muscles is critically important for growing. You want to stretch the cells, right? You want to stretch the cells of your muscles. And you do that by going for a maximum pump. So,
and the fuel that you need to get the pump comes from carbohydrates, because your body takes the carbs, starches, sugars, fibers, and boom, you have glucose, which I don't know, maybe it's just amazing how the body works and does that. But he says that you don't need carbs, you need fats and cortisol. Remember what he said in the first part.
Why the hell would you not eat carbs pre-training? Well, it's very simple. You don't load up your glycogen stores immediately pre-training. If you train at 11 o'clock in the morning, do you honestly think your 8 a.m. meal is going to make a blind bit of difference to your glycogen levels if you ate carbohydrates and had good glycogen storage previous to that? It's not. It's not.
It's people like this that are spouting information that clearly are confused and they don't know what they're talking about. Because in the beginning he said you need cortisol and fats, you don't need carbs, but you need fuel and glucose and glycogen that's stored in your cells in your body. But let's look at it this way. I'm here, I woke up, had my water, had my latte, and now I'm doing my little protein drink with carbs. That's we can't do that. Don't want to have fuel because in a few hours I'm going to go to the gym and work out. I'm going to replenish my glycogen stores and glucose, because basically what I did from 9 o'clock last night until 5 o'clock this morning was fast. So my body has gone through all those things. So to replenish my glycogen or glucose stores, you need to eat. And what are the things that provide all of those? Carbohydrates is your main body's fuel source, and glucose. It's. I just don't get it. I mean, you can listen to the rest of this, and there's some truth, but I mean, there's so much misinformation as saying that, especially the part about cortisol and fats. If you're trying to lose weight, why would you eat fats in the hopes that that would provide you energy if you already have fat that you're trying to lose? You want to use the fat storage, because remember, if you eat carbs and you get the glucose and then you don't use that, whatever's left over is going to be converted and stored as fat. So your fat storage is actually, consider it like gas, cans of gas that you have in the back of the truck just in case there's an emergency, you can fuel up. Well, what you want to end up doing and doing a body recomp, or you want to lose body fat, is you want to maintain a high protein intake and then reduce the amount, keep your carbs up there, but reduce your calories so that you're in a deficit. So when your body runs through those glucose in your cells and muscles and the glycogen and glucose and blood sugar hoozy-whatsies that you have, when it gets down and the tank is empty, then it starts turning around. It's like, well, hell, what can we use for fuel? Oh yeah, we've got that gas can. Let's put that into the tank. Your body's going to go to the fat stores, which is stored energy from the carbs because you ate too much carbs, and they're going to use that, and then hence you're going to lose body fat. And with the higher protein levels, what you'll end up doing is actually end up maintaining, or you can even build muscle. Again, there's a whole nutrition plan that comes into play that's a little bit more detailed that I think is way beyond this guy's brain cell capacity, especially when you say that cortisol and fat. Now we're not talking about whether you should do fasted workouts or you should eat before workouts. That's not what we're talking here, because regardless if you do a fasted workout or even a workout where you eat beforehand, you're still going to use glycogen stores. And if you're trying to do a body recomp or lose body fat, I've done fasted workouts where I don't eat after 7 o'clock at night, and then by the morning, and then like 7 to 8 in the next day, I do my workout. Problem is, I usually run out of gas. And since I'm not trying to lose body fat, it's not really a thing that I'm doing. And I would get bloated, I get slow. And what I found out is then I went to the other extreme where I ended up eating before working out. And I would be running and doing, and I'd slam down my protein and carbohydrate shake. And I would go to the gym like 30 minutes later. Well, the problem with that personally, some people it's okay, but for me, I would feel a little bloated and sluggish. So what I found out for me personally, and some other trainers who actually know what they're talking about, suggest that you should eat maybe 1 or 2 hours, somewhere around there, before your workout, so your body can start the digestive process. And so by the time you get to the gym, you don't have that bloated feeling. And then, there's a big difference depending on whether you're trying to lose body fat, build muscle for hypertrophy or strength gain, so on and so forth. Again, it all depends on the goals that you have set for yourself. I've done fasted workouts. I've done, eat a ton of food and go work out an hour or 2 hours later. And I have gotten good results on both, considering the goals that I was going after. But this basic information of this guy saying that, you know what, you don't need carbs, don't eat carbs. You should, what's going to fuel your workouts is going to be fats and cortisol. Oh my God, seriously. And Ultimate Performance Man knows what he's talking about. And I'm amazed because we're seeing more and more of this. Now, this is an older video, but I've run across some reels doing the same thing, talking about the same thing. Oh, you don't need carbs prior to a workout. No, you don't need them, but you can. And the interesting thing is I've had discussions with fitness influencers and asking them, is there a significant difference between doing what you say versus eating before a workout 1 or 2 or 3 hours beforehand? And none of them can provide any proof whatsoever that there is a significant increase in building muscle or losing body fat or blah, 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 blah. So yeah, but if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to be in a calorie deficit, but your body is still going to need some energy. You're still going to need some carbs, albeit even if it's a low carb diet, those carbohydrates are still going to fuel your workout and your bodily functions to some degree, unless you're going on the starvation diet, and those never work out well anyway. Again, having well-rounded meals, you can have low carbs, high protein, and you can get along fine. You could have more carbs, like the daily recommended amount, 40 to 65, somewhere around there percent. Have the rest being, the majority protein, maybe 10, 15% of fats. It just doesn't make sense what some of these people are saying. And again, what you'll end up with fitness influencers is these people will end up saying, oh, you need to do this and to get hypertrophy, or you need to do this to get the optimal performance. And yet, there's nothing, when you have stuff saying you need to fuel your workouts with fat and cortisol, that's huge, huge red flags. And unfortunately, there are even fitness influencers that are bigger than me. I've got 18-inch arms. I just weighed myself last night. I'm 257 pounds at 6'2". I got some visible abs. I'm doing pretty good for 58 years old. But that's my goal, is to gain muscle and maintain, I got some abs, some visible abs that you can see. That's kind of where I'm at right now as far as maintaining. Later I'll do a bulk, maybe I'll do a cut, I don't know. Eventually I'll cut down. But when you get people that don't even understand how the human body works, just simple explanations that has been taught in school, and I think maybe that's the problem. People like this don't get taught the basics of human anatomy and how the human body works and all of those processes anymore in school. And so they end up making stupid stuff like this. Now, if you want some other good information, what I would suggest is checking out Jeff Nippard. And matter of fact, he has a video here where you probably want to take a look at if you want to learn about the carbs and the whole 9 yards here. Yeah, talks about carbohydrates, fuel for the workout, and then the anabolic environment being the protein, if that's your goal. So he does this whole video, what to eat before, during, and after training for max muscle growth. There's a ton of information on here on what Jeff ends up talking about. And he actually cites studies showing the good information that is reliable, that has been tested, where there's conclusions that have come into play. And yeah, talking about meal frequency. Then we got commercials, yeah, Chat GPT, which is a great way to do a meal plan, I should say. But yeah, he comes up with all this information. And whether you do a fasted workout or, eating before, again, this is just Barney basic information that you can find online from studies and reliable sources. And just, he breaks it down pretty detailed. So yeah, a great video to watch would be what to eat before, during, and after training for maximum muscle. You can see protein, 0.5 kilograms, 0.5 grams per kilogram, fats about 0 to 20 grams. So again, what we're looking at is, again, that Barney Basic, 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat. Meals, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? That is kind of like a thing. Meals eaten closer to the workout should contain less fat. Meals eaten further from the workout should contain more fat. And he goes into more details about that. So this, what Johnny over here was explaining, Ultimate Performance Man, was suggesting to do the exact opposite of what science has showed us to be true. And yeah, it just goes to show the good-looking guys that got a decent physique doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. You can be ultimate performance and have your own app and merch and hats and gear and whatever supplements, but it doesn't mean that you know anything. You can have the greatest PR and online presence, but when you start spouting bullshit like that, it really, really shows, unfortunately, that people like you are clueless and you're doing it for clicks and views, or you're just stupid. And I don't know. I really hope it's just ignorance. Other that it's planned this way to be clickbait, to try to hook the ignorant people, the people that don't know, who don't exercise, who haven't been to school in a while, have forgotten all this stuff. They haven't dusted off the knowledge. It's people like that that just make me. It makes me angry because they are lying and they're telling lies. They're not telling the truth. They're giving misrepresentation. And the whole reason they're doing it is to get more clicks and views, to troll for clients and make them seem as if they have some, esoteric information that, oh, you don't need carbohydrates for energy. You need fat and cortisol to fuel your workouts, which is what this guy ended up saying. And it's insanely stupid. So just be careful who you listen to on the internet. And again, a great video to check out, which is based on science, is this one here by Jeff Nippard, What to Eat Before, During, and After Training for Maximum Muscle Growth, if that is your goal. And he says meals eaten closer to workout should contain less fat. Meals eaten further from the workout should contain more fat, which is the exact opposite of Ultimate Performance Man suggestion. And where do you buy cortisol? That's what I want to know. You should fuel your workouts with fat and cortisol. Is there? I haven't seen that at Walmart or Costco. I checked online on Amazon. I don't see any, packages of cortisol. So yeah, be careful who you listen to online when it comes to fitness information. And I would err on the side of caution, and I would stick to science-based information to get you on the board, and then use the information that can help you reach your goals, and go exercise, eat sensibly, get good recovery, and you will be better than the majority of the people in the world. With a simple working out 3 days a week, do 75 minutes to 150 minutes of cardio a week for your heart health, can reduce heart issues and complications like stroke and heart attack up to 50%. So that's kind of a good thing. Then resistance training is real good as we get older. It combats against sarcopenia. Working out as you get older gives you a better quality of life when you're younger, but as you get older, it really makes your golden years golden. And that is my goal. I just turned 58 and I want to maintain my gym routine because I see people that didn't do that and they're old, they're frail, they're skinny, and they're not enjoying life. And I've seen people that were older that would go to the gym in their 70s and 80s, still had decent muscles and active. That's the type of retiree that I want to be. So since I'm retired, I'm walking out that plan as we speak. So anyway, that's what we're talking. Be careful who you listen to. You don't need to fuel. You don't need carbohydrates to fuel your workouts. You need fat and cortisol. Man, we really need to just up the standards in our education system and bring back more of the hard sciences because the fitness influencers we're getting today are absolutely clueless and stupid. So be careful who you listen to. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that, and you can even buy me a coffee if you want. But if you don't, that's cool. I get it. But please at least like the video. Do that for me. And don't fuel your workouts with fat and cortisol. That's my gift to you. It's okay to eat carbs, the main vehicle that gives you energy for living, let alone your workouts. Okay. Ooh, all right. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace. Good Lord, these people are stupid.